Welcome back, guys. This is part 2 of our review of Mirror Image by Danielle still. So before we get into it, if you didn't listen to part 1, you need to go back and listen to part 1. The link is in the description. Watch part 1 so you know what's happening, and then you come right back and catch up with the rest of us. Right, so they're going to their honeymoon. They're going by ship because, again, this is back in the day, they're not catching flights. They're going on a ship, and their first night is Victoria's. Clearly, she was crying on her wedding day. She was trying to get out of it, but she ended up just doing it. So she's still not into Charles like that. She really doesn't like Charles. And Charles tries, and when he touches it, she's just she's not having it. She really, for her, she's comparing Charles to Toby, because with Toby she was in love, and so just being touched and kissed and romanced was like, oh, but with Charles it's like, oh gross, get your hands off of me. So that's how best I can describe their first night. She wants nothing to do with Charles. And I don't know if they did it the first night or the second one. Okay. So they did it. They tried to do it the first night, but it was just horrible. Victoria was not responding. Charles felt like he was taking advantage of her. She was just, she was crying. It was horrible, And it was also horrible for Charles because that's not how it was with his wife. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, So the entire honeymoon is pretty much just like that. When they're out with the guests, Victoria is happy. But when they're together in bed, she really doesn't like Charles like that. Like, she can't even hide it. So much so that Charles decides, you know what, we shouldn't even do this because it's making this relationship even worse. It's not building us, it's breaking us and like pushing us further apart. So he stops initiating intimacy, and Victoria couldn't be more happy. She's like, oh, finally, thank you, don't touch me. Right, so that happens, and they had to cut their honeymoon short because of the war. So war breaks out in Europe, and obviously Victoria is trying to stay there, but Charles is like, no, I have a son, so I'm taking my wife back home. We are not getting killed, in a foreign country. So they leave, they cut the honeymoon short, they go back to New York. Olivia stays with them for a couple of weeks, just, trying to get Victoria into that domesticated vibe. Victoria is having none of it. She can't cook, she can't run a house. She's not even trying to. She doesn't want to, And Gio can feel it, Charles can feel it. Every time at home, Victoria is interested in all this war stuff. She's going to meetings, she's finding out what's happening. She's not taking care of Gio, she's not taking care of Charles. And at night it gets even worse because they can't do anything. They're not being intimate. Because every time Charles tries it, it's like there's this bridge that keeps being, built between them. So it's going rough, and when Olivia comes to visit, she realizes, okay, it's going really rough. And when she came to visit, Gio had fallen sick, and Victoria was not even there. So Olivia's like, okay, let me take Gio. Maybe you guys need some time alone, But Victoria's like, nah, we don't even do anything. We're not trying to do anything. I don't want a child. I don't want a child with Charles, clearly, and she doesn't want to be touched, So Olivia texts Gio, but even with that, it's like, it's not giving married people. They're just like two strangers. They don't touch each other. They forever arguing. It's just like, it's a toxic environment. But pause again there. Serves Edward right. What did he expect? Victoria made her feelings known. I really didn't blame Victoria in this point because she made her feelings known. She's like, I don't want this. I don't want this guy. I don't like this guy. And she was very vocal about it. But they still forced her into it. I don't feel sorry for Charles. Honestly, I wasn't feeling sorry for Charles because, sir, you knew and you chose Victoria because she's safe. But she clearly is now giving you a hard time. So, Olivia takes Gio, but it's like nothing happens. Nothing changes. And then, what happened after that? Okay, so Victoria doesn't like Charles. At this point, Charles starts drinking because that's the only way he can cope with the stress. So it's not a conducive environment for Gio, and Gio now prefers to be with Oli more than he does with his parents. He doesn't want to be with his parents. Yeah, so after Gio falls sick, Olivia takes Gio, goes with Gio back home. But at this point, Victoria is fed up. She's like, not gonna happen, you know? I don't want this anymore. So this is the interesting bit of the story. This is the part where it gets interesting. Because Victoria's like, I'm fed up, you know? So when when Oli brings Gio back, this is where Victoria's like, we need to switch, you know, like the good old days when I didn't want to take medicine and you took medicine for the both of us, or when I got in trouble, or when I didn't want to take my test. Let's just switch. I just need 3 months, you know, just 3 months. I just want to go to Europe, get this thing out of my system, and when I come back, I promise you, I'm going to be a proper wife and a proper mother. Olivia's like, hell no, we're not doing that. Like, that's awkward. You married, I can't switch with you. But Victoria's like, don't worry, we're not even having sex. We're not sleeping together. Let's just switch. 3 months. I promise you I'll be back after 3 months, right? And Olivia's like, okay, you know. Victoria did have to convince her a little bit, but I think Olivia also, she really wanted that one chance with Charles, and this is how she was gonna get it. So a little sneaky for Olivia, but I didn't blame her. You know what? You only have one chance at life, one shot at it. So if you can get a little, just do it. Just do something to make you happy. And this was it. So they agree, they carry out the plan. The plan is they'll send letters to the dead, to Charles, to Victoria, to say Olivia is going to California. She just needs a break. She's not coping with her twin being married and being left alone because they've never been separate. So it's convincing. And Olivia had 3 weeks to prepare. So did Victoria. So in that time, Victoria also had to act nicer to the guys so that when Olivia comes, you know, the jig won't get, you know, they won't be sought out because Olivia is nicer, Victoria is meaner, so she had to be nice. And, you know, vice versa, Olivia had to learn how to be mean as well. But yeah, they agreed to switch, and finally they switch. Olivia stays behind in New York with Gio and Charles, and Victoria goes on a ship and she's headed to Europe. Love that for Victoria. Finally, girl, do your thing. Don't listen to those people. So the first couple of weeks, it was the first 2 weeks, Oli is trying, she's trying to be a little mean, but also she can't be mean. It's not in her. So she's mending socks, she's baking, she's doing all those things. And Charles was like, are you okay? Like, why are you baking? You know, he's never seen Victoria like cooking or anything. And she's like, no, Olivia taught me, so, you know, I know how to. And Charles just thinks because the twin is away, and the doctor did say, you know, sometimes when one twin is not there, the other imitates the other twin because of loneliness. So he thinks that's what is happening. Like, oh, Victoria is being soft because she misses Oli. Yeah, because she misses Oli. The entire time it's Oli and Victoria's the one who left, right? Until something happens to the ship and they shoot it down, you know, back in the thingy with those, what do they call those things? Those
rocket launches.
Yeah, that rocket launches. Obviously they gun it down and a lot of people die. And when that happened, Olivia instantly felt it. The entire night she felt like she was drowning because Victoria was drowning. Like, that's how, like, guys, this is how strong this bond was. They could feel if the other one was not feeling well, the other one would feel the same pain. They could tell what the other one is thinking about without the other one saying anything. So she felt it. She wakes up at night, she's crying, she's faint and everything. Charles gets a doctor. The doctor's like, no, I think that's the thing, because the other twin is not here. That's why this is happening, you know. And Olivia is on the edge until she does receive a telegram from Victoria saying she's okay and she's safe. And that night, when she gets that news and she calms down and everything, that night, Charles, you know, comforts her. And in the comforting, it leads to more adult things. And I doubt things happen. Again, pause. This is where this story gets a little sus, because I honestly feel like Charles knew what was happening, because he slept with Victoria. He could tell the first night they slept together, he could tell that Victoria had slept with someone, And this is where Victoria's like, yeah, I slept with Toby. I was carrying his child, he had a miscarriage and everything. And now he sleeps with Victoria and he doesn't tell. I'm not a man. I wouldn't know. And these are adult things. I'm not supposed to be talking about adult things. Like I know adult things. But the math is not mathing, man. You're telling me you couldn't tell the difference between someone who's been with a man and someone who's never been with a man? Charles knew what was happening. I think he didn't want to confront it. He was just like, I'm just going to take what I'm given and I'm going to run with it. And so he does exactly that. They sleep together, and then this point, it's like, it's hard for Olivia to hold back. She is in love with Charles already. So it's like, those people start getting it on. They really start getting it on. Like, they start going for it. They start dating. It's nice. And Victoria, on the other side, gets to Europe, France. She gets there and she volunteers at like those camps where they treat wounded men and all those things. So she's driving the ambulance because she taught herself how to drive. Good for you, Victoria. She's treating men, wounds, taking care of them. Some of them are dying, some of them make it. It's just that kind of a thing. That is where she meets her man. I don't know how you pronounce this name because it's French. And I clearly never did any French. It's like Edward, but not the English Edward, like the French version of Edward. We just call him Ed, right? Let's just call him Ed so that, yeah. But she meets this guy, right? And they hit it off instantly. He's also married, she's also married. So the affair is like, it's perfect, He has his reasons of why he hasn't divorced his wife, because he had this, it's like he had this title in the UK. He was from the UK, he was English. It's like he had this title there, and the wife didn't want to divorce him because of the benefits that title brought, And Victoria obviously couldn't divorce Charles because Charles thought he was with Victoria. And she was using Olivia's name when she was in the camp. So it was perfect. This affair starts. And during this time, both girls are in love, right? Olivia with Charles, Victoria with Ed, right? They are in love. It's going well. Love that for them. Until Gio finds out that actually this is not Victoria, this is Oli. And how does he find out? Oli had a freckle on her right hand, right? And then Victoria had the same freckle but on her left. Like I said, what Oli has on the right, Victoria has on the left. And Olivia had told Gio the secret. Like, if you want to tell the difference between us, this is my freckle, it's on this hand. Victoria's freckle is on this hand. And Olivia had this accident. Again with horses. Olivia and horses, there's something going on with this girl with horses. She was trying to help remove something from the horse's hoof, and then it cut her hand, so the hand is hurt. They're running it underwater, blah blah blah. So Gio brings a towel to stop the bleeding, and as he's putting the towel, he sees that freckle, that little beauty mark on the hand, and he's like, no way, ma'am, what's going on? So obviously Olivia comes clean to Gio and like, okay, right, cool, it's me, it's Olivia, but don't tell your dad, And Gio's like, I don't care, you here, because he was so devastated when he heard Olivia had left. So for him, it's like, oh my word, my favorite girl is still here, he's having fun, time of his life. And he doesn't say anything to the dad, right? And this goes on until Olivia falls pregnant. Drama, because the girl is pregnant, and the kids are the brother-in-law's kids. But right around that time, Victoria also gets pregnant for Ed. Like, they were really doing things together. Because Olivia gave birth first to twin girls. Victoria gave birth 6 hours later to a boy. Oli called the girls Elizabeth and Victoria. Yeah, she called them Elizabeth for their mother and Victoria for the sister. I don't know how she explained that, because she's already Victoria. Why are you naming your daughter Victoria? But like I said, Charles knew what was happening, but he was having the best of both worlds. He was not going to confront it. And Victoria calls a child Olivia, but like a boy Olivia. So with the IER at the end, not with an A. Right? Cool. So they would, because she gave birth in the war zone, they would leave the son, she would leave her son with the countess. And because the countess was obviously protected because she's high in power, she's like a minister of some sort. In this day and age, she'll be a minister. That's why she'll leave her son. She'll breastfeed him in the morning and in the evenings, right? It's going well. The twins are growing, and Olivia is growing as well. The boy Olivia. We call him Olive, right? And yeah, so that's happening until they were leaving this meeting. Ed and Victoria, they live in this meeting with the allies, with the allies. Sorry, not allies, with the allies. It's like a secret meeting. Only like someone had, I think, released the information or something, because when they left immediately after leaving, they were shot down. So a sniper started shooting at the car. The sniper shot Ed first, and then Victoria after. But she didn't feel it because she was so concerned. The boyfriend is bleeding out, and she's trying to drive him to the camp so that he gets treated. So when she gets there, unfortunately, Ed had already passed on, and she's trying to get people to help Ed, but she was shot on the spine, So they're like, okay, we can't help Ed, we need to help you because you've been shot. Ed had passed away already at this point, and they help her. So at this point, when she slips into a coma, they have to tell who? Victoria, who's Olivia, right? And so they send a letter to say, hey, your sister has been shot, it's not looking good. You know what I'm saying? And Olivia's like, okay, I'm going to my sister. She tells Charles, look, this has happened to Olivia, I need to go. Charles like, no, you just gave birth to our twins, we have 3 kids, you're not going to a country where there's war, blah, blah, blah. But Olivia's like, bro, you can stay with the kids, I'm leaving. It's either you live with me or I'm leaving. And eventually Charles, even though he doesn't want to, he lives with Olivia, and they go to Europe. And when they get there, Olivia sees her sister. It's like a cute little moment where they reunite. This is after 18 months, so they reunite. Even though she's hurt, they reunite. It's fun. Oh my Lord Jesus. You did say it will come. Can we pause until we get that dark situation? And can we pause until we get it sorted out? Because I'm going to jump into this pool. I will drown. I don't know what's in the water, but I'm going to... No.
Go.
Bro, don't come back. I'm scared of you. Okay, so they meet. It's a cute moment. It's a heartwarming moment. It's a moment that brought tears to my eyes because it's like, oh, they're finally together. But they don't tell Charles immediately. They bond. And this is where Olivia tells Victoria, like, I'm so sorry. I know this is your husband, but, I just gave birth to twins. But I don't mind. I'll go back home and you stay with him and the twins. And Victoria's like, what? I'm glad you got a little action. Ma'am, I also have a son. I met a guy, he died, and, all of that things. So, also... I missed this, but the dad is passed on, right? Remember, we cut everything, so the dad did pass on, but he passed on after Victoria had left. So they get to share that moment where, like, how was it when dad was dying, how that did you take care of him and all of those things. And they don't tell Charles the secret then. And then next day, Victoria's like, no, it's cool, send him in. I will tell him what happened. I'll make you look good. And so Charles goes into the room, and this is where Victoria's like, I know you know this, but I'm Victoria. You've been married to Olivia this past 18 years. And Charles is livid. Oh my word. Also, I don't get why. I honestly believe in you. He was just being delusional. I know Delulu is the new Solulu, but come on, man. You knew this is not your wife. But anyway, he's really pissed, right? And Victoria feels the mean and is like, look, I met a guy, I have a son, I really didn't love you like that, and we were so toxic, and you know it. You know what I'm saying? Charles goes outside to Olivia and is like, I can't believe you did this. I've been sleeping with you for a year. We even have kids. Like, you tricked me. This is not a little game and stuff. Did Gio know? And she's like, yeah, Gio did find out. And it's just, that makes me even more mad, because how did my son know this and I didn't know it? So it's mad. It's like, I hate you. I don't want you around me. Like, that kind of thing. And in Olivia's mind, it's like, okay, cool. I knew this was going to happen. He's going to obviously take the kids because he's the one who's working and everything. And back in the day, this was a thing. He was going to get the kids. And she was just like, you know what, it's fine. I'll just raise Victoria's child for now. And then when she comes home, we'll just raise this child together. She had told herself, you know what, it's cool. It's good. My marriage is over. It was good while it lasted. Thank you for the experience. You know, I came, I saw, I got the t-shirt. Okay. Later that evening, you know, well, Olivia was sleeping next to Victoria and they were bonding. And then later that evening, Victoria actually does say goodbye to Olivia. And she's like, you know what, I'm seeing mom and dad. I'm happy, let me go, kind of a thing. That moment was like, oh. This was my second time reading this book. I read it again for the second time just to get the facts right, and it still made me cry. That part where Victoria is passing away and she's saying goodbye to Olivia, it is just like, oh my word, it breaks your heart, because you have seen all those things they do together, they do for each other. It's like, it was so hard to understand how can they be Olivia without a Victoria. I don't know why Danielle did this, because ma'am, you could have just let this thing be. Victoria stay in France with her son, Olivia with Charles. But yeah, sadly, Victoria passes away because of the infection and the wound and all of those things. And poor Olivia, she's devastated. But she goes to fetch the son, and she asks this guy to drive her there. They go, they fetch him, and on their way back, they get shot at. So the guy's like, okay, let's hide. They hide in some abandoned farm. And they hide for a long time, but the baby is crying. And then at this point, Olivia is not nursing. She didn't nurse her kids, so she didn't have any milk. The baby is crying because the baby is hungry. She's hungry. The guy is hungry. So the guy's like, you know what? Let me walk to camp, and then I'll get us help, you know. But like the moment is like a couple of feet away, he's shot down. And Olivia can see like this guy is dead, you know. So she can't also just leave because she's going to be shot down with the child. So it's a mess. Back at the camp, Charles is looking for Olivia, and they tell her, oh no, Olivia went to fetch the child. And in the morning, people were doing like the patrolling. They come across the guy's body and they go back and like, okay, the guy has been shot, so we don't know where Olivia is. So it's like a matter of urgency. We need to find this woman. And Charles is beside himself with the worry, because that's his wife, right? And they have kids together. He doesn't want to go home without his wife, and he regrets all the things he was saying. This is a life lesson to everyone. Be mindful of the things you say, because tomorrow is no promise to anyone, okay? Be mindful of the things you say. But anyway, they look for Olivia, they find him. But Olivia doesn't know that Charles is actually, you know, he has thought this thing through, because even Victoria did say to him, like, bro, you knew. Like, you knew that was not me, and you knew we were never gonna be happy. Look at how happy you are now. You know, you've been aware of how I feel about you. So he thought things through, and it's like, okay, I mean, I feel bad that they tricked me, but I really did end up with a life partner, you know, with another soulmate. People don't get lucky twice in this life. Anyway, they find Olivia and they go back and they pack and they leave. Even when they're getting on the ship, Olivia's like, just book me a separate room. I'll reimburse you your money when we get back. She's really, in her mind, she knew her marriage is over. This guy doesn't want anything to do with me. And it's good. She really made peace with that. But Charles was like, I'm not losing my other wife, you know. So he goes, he apologizes, and there was a priest on the ship, and he gets this priest to bless them and to marry them. And they get married on the ship. On the ship. They got married on the ship. So by the time they landed in New York, they were already married. So that's how the story ends. It ends with Charles married to Olivia. They had twins together, and they had Gio, and obviously they had little Olive now. because both his parents had passed, so Olivia was the next of kin. So that's how the story ends, with our two lovebirds married with 4 kids. And yeah, honestly, it's an awesome story. If you want to cry, if you want to laugh, this is the book for you. Every emotion, you're gonna get it. And if you have a novel you think I should read and talk about, you can leave it in the comments. If you love hearing about stories but don't love reading, this is why I'm here. Let me read and tell you what happens in the story. Leave also suggestions in the comments, and like, share and subscribe to get more content and to be notified when I post. Thank you and bye.